Welcome to our channel, History of Everything. Today we speak about history of Uzbekistan. The region currently known as the country of Uzbekistan has been referred to by many names over the millennia. The name, Uzbekistan, first appears in 16th century literature. Other names for the region include Transoxania, Sogdia, and the Khanate of Bukhara. In the 14th century the region served as the birthplace, home, and capital of Tamerlane. Under Tamerlane, the region was a part of the Timurid Empire, which extended from the Black Sea to the Arabian Sea, and to just outside of Delhi, India. The first people known to have inhabited Central Asia were Scythians, who came from the northern grasslands of what is now Uzbekistan, sometime in the first millennium BC. When these nomads settled in the region, they built an extensive irrigation system along the rivers. At this time, cities such as Bukhara, and Samarkand emerged as centers of government and high culture. By the 5th century BC, the Bactrian, Sogdian, and Tocharian states dominated the region. As East Asia began to develop its silk trade with the West, using an extensive network of cities and rural settlements in the province of Transoxiana, and further east in what is today Xinjiang, the Sogdian intermediaries became the wealthiest of these merchants. As a result of this trade on what became known as the Silk Route, Bukhara and Samarkand eventually became extremely wealthy cities, and at times Transoxiana was one of the most influential and powerful provinces of antiquity. Asia, Iran, the Caucasus, Mesopotamia, Asia Minor, and the southern steppe region north of the Aral Sea. He also invaded Russia before dying during an invasion of China in 1405. Timur was also known for his extreme brutality, and his conquests were accompanied by genocidal massacres in the cities he occupied. Timur initiated the last flowering of Transoxiana by gathering together numerous artisans and scholars from the vast lands he had conquered into his capital, Samarkand, thus imbuing his empire with a rich Perso-Islamic culture. During his reign and the reigns of his immediate descendants, a wide range of religious and palatial construction masterpieces were undertaken in Samarkand and other population centers. Tamerlane also established an exchange of medical discoveries and patronized physicians, scientists and artists from the neighboring regions such as India. 35. His grandson Ulu Beg was one of the world's first great astronomers. It was during the Timurid dynasty that Turkic, in the form of the Chagatai dialect, became a literary language in its own right in Transoxiana, although the Timurids were Persianate in culture. The greatest Chagatai writer, Ali Shir Nabi, was active in the city of Herat, now in northwestern Afghanistan, in the second half of the 15th century. The Timurid state quickly split in half after the death of Timur. The chronic internal fighting of the Timurids attracted the attention of the Uzbek nomadic tribes living to the north of the Aral Sea. In 1501, the Uzbek forces began a wholesale invasion of Transoxiana. The slave trade in the Emirate of Bukhara became prominent and was firmly established at this time. The Khanate of Bukhara was eventually invaded by the foreign government of Persia in 1510, and then became a part of the Persian Empire of the day. Before the arrival of the Russians, present-day Uzbekistan was divided between the Emirate of Bukhara and the Khanates of Khiva and Kokand. In the 19th century, the Russian Empire began to expand and spread into Central Asia. There were 210,306 Russians living in Uzbekistan in 1912. The Great Game period is generally regarded as running from approximately 1813 to the Anglo-Russian Convention of 1907. A second, less intensive phase followed the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917. At the start of the 19th century, there were some 3,200 kilometers, 2,000 miles, separating British India and the outlying regions of Tsarist Russia. Much of the land between was unmapped. In the early 1890s, Sven Hedin passed through Uzbekistan during his first expedition. By the beginning of 1920, Central Asia was firmly in the hands of Russia and, despite some early resistance to the Bolsheviks, Uzbekistan and the rest of Central Asia became a part of the Soviet Union. On the 27th of October 1924, the Uzbek Soviet Socialist Republic was created. From 1941 to 1945, during World War II, 1,433,230 people from Uzbekistan fought in the Red Army against Nazi Germany. A number also fought on the German side. As many as 263,005 Uzbek soldiers died in the battlefields of the Eastern Front, and 32,670 went missing in action. During the Soviet-Afghan War, a number of Uzbek troops fought in neighboring Afghanistan. At least more than 1,500 lost their lives and thousands more paralyzed. On the 20th of June 1990, Uzbekistan declared its state sovereignty. On the 31st of August 1991, Uzbekistan declared independence after the failed coup attempt in Moscow. The 1st of September was proclaimed National Independence Day. The Soviet Union was dissolved on the 26th of December of that year. Islam Karimov, previously First Secretary of the Communist Party of Uzbekistan since 1989, was elected President of the Uzbek Soviet Socialist Republic in 1990. After the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, he was elected President of independent Uzbekistan. An authoritarian ruler, Karimov died in September 2016. He was replaced by his longtime Prime Minister, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, on the 14th of December of the same year. On the 6th of November 2021, Mirziyoyev was sworn into his second term in office, after gaining a landslide victory in presidential election. In 2023, following 1 year of Russian invasion, Uzbekistan stepped up its trade with Ukraine and increased the world's second main importer of Ukrainian beef. Thank you for listening, friends. Keep support.